Hi everybody, welcome to episode 2 of APLCrafts, a little bit of everything. Today I'm going to show you some of my cookies. I was in the middle of making a double batch of dough when I decided, oh yeah, I really should podcast this. So here I am. I do a little bit of, I've mentioned before that I bake, or I used to bake. And so today I'm making what I call my beach memory cookies, which has um, oats, pineapple, uh, almond, vanilla, banana, coconut, and chocolate chips. It's almost like a trash can type cookie, but it's got a tropical flair to it. And apparently everybody loves these cookies, and it's a pain in the butt to make, I'm not gonna lie. So my husband always requests these cookies, and so he gets them 3 times a year. He gets them for Father's Day, he gets them for his birthday, and he gets them for Christmas. Because other than that, if I'm not selling it, I'm not making it. But I'm making them today, and so I'm going to show you a little bit about it. It is a proprietary blend, so I will not tell you the recipe, but I will show you some of what's in it. And I'll also show you some baking tips so that when you make your own cookies at home, whatever cookies you make, you have a more consistent bake. That is, if you're already having problems or some problems with baking. So let's go into the kitchen. So in here I have my proprietary blend of sea salt and banana and flour, spices. Um, what else do I have in there? Extracts. About to add my oatmeal. And then I'm going to add my mix-ins. That's all in a thingy over here. And I'm thinking, because I usually have dates in here, but I subbed dates for pineapple. So I think I'm gonna, instead of calling them beach memory cookies, they might be Jason's cookies or Tropical Storm. Let me know what you think. We'll see. Always save your chips and your coconuts or your nuts or whatever you're gonna put in your cookies for last. Just like with a cake, it's something you mix in last. So that's what I'm gonna do here. And then the trick to doing cookies is to make sure that they're cold before you put them in the oven. You don't want warm cookies, and I'll tell you why coming up. So before we get to baking, I want to apologize for any shaky camera. I know it's a pain in the ass to look at, but this is pretty much just me, a one-woman show, doing all this, and as Poe, so, you gotta do what you gotta do, and, I probably don't have the best hand for holding the phone, but, you gotta do what you gotta do. I will mention before we put the cookies in the oven that I have my dough sitting in a bowl in the fridge. Now, I would recommend maybe having your dough in the fridge for at least a half an hour. You could do a few hours if you want to cover it. Mine's uncovered because I'm getting back into the kitchen to bake these off. But if you saw the last episode where I talked about the cinnamon rolls, you always want to make sure that your oven is preheated, obviously, but then let it sit for a couple minutes before you open it, and that helps keep more of the heat in the oven when you open the door, instead of all of it escaping, and then it's got to go back up to temp again before it actually is really baking your product. Now, the reason for that is because if the oven temperature is low and it's going back up, all you're really doing is melting, or what's the word I'm gonna look for? If it's cookies that are gonna melt, kind of just go, get kind of flat. If it's a bread, it'll probably go a little flat. So basically, you want to have as much heat as possible so that they pop. Like muffins. You want to be muffin dough. You want it to be batter. You want it to be cold so that it pops in the oven. Cookies, unless you like the really flat look, I'm not knocking it. Everybody's got their own thing when it comes to cookies. I don't like it that way, so I always make sure that they're cold. And that's it. I apologize for my sniffling too. I have allergies. I'm in Tennessee, and if you know anything about the South and pollen, it's crazy down here. And yeah, so that's what I'm going with. But we're going to go into the kitchen and we're going to bake off some beach memory cookies. Okay, so now the cookies are in the oven. And I figure while, we're waiting for that to go on, I'll show you some other stuff that I do, because I mentioned in the last episode that I also do some crocheting and some knitting and some gardening, and thinking about getting back into my cross stitch. So I will show you some shawls that I've made. I have a new color, purple, and the two blue ones I've had for a little bit, but there's some summer shawls. Pattern is by Kristen Omdahl. It's not my design, it's hers. But they're really featherweight, made out of, trying to remember, nylon and acrylic, and lightweight summer shawls. I'm only going to do 3. I might do some more if people are interested in them. I do sell them. If anyone likes them, just give me a holler. But, I figure I'll show those off and then we can get back to the cookies. So this is what I mean by big cookies. You see how they're not flat, they're rounded. This is the effect that you'll get for your cookies when you chill them before you put them in a really hot oven. This is using a 1/4 cup scoop like I showed previously for the size. Now, obviously whatever scoop you use or however method you use to get the cookies on, you're going to have different sizes, but this is the poofiness that I like for my big cookies. Nom, nom, nom. You like your cookie? You glad I made it?
Finally.
Yay! Happy birthday. Happy Father's Day.